What you are listening to is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in the squared circle. Both parties have agreed to dismiss their cases and have their disputes settled here in our forum, the Turnbuckle Debate.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Turnbuckle Debate, brought to you by your guys from the Turnbuckle Tavern. We have another special guest on with us today. We'll go ahead and get his introduction. This is Marco from the CHICK FOLEY SHOW. We're excited to have you on, one of our Pod Foundation brethren.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for having me on, guys. I was telling my wife earlier, I was like, I'm kind of nervous. And she was like, why are you nervous? You do a podcast every single week. I was like, well, I mean, it's my first time with these guys, so and I'm represented by myself. I don't want to, make Sheena and Seth look bad. So I'm gonna try my best not to.
Don't lie to him, Tom.
Our second CHICK FOLEY member, Sheena, came on a couple weeks ago. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, seeing that. Yeah, it was great. That was actually a really great episode. I like how she brought the that was a topic of ours, the Bella twins in the Hall of Fame. So yeah, we talked about that on the show too. So yeah, that was a hot topic when they announced that. So I'm glad you guys put it to rest.
And my name's Sneed.
I'm Chad,
as always. And then let's go ahead and get it out of the way. Go for it, Tom.
I am the OG fake kid, the staple of the Turnbuckle Debate.
Yeah, he got a little hot.
Just get that in there.
Yeah, he got hot.
Yeah, Tom.
I'm the staple. You can now refer to me as the staple. That's my new nickname.
Staple of the debate.
Staple, yeah. He got mad at Marco. Just a little backstory. He got mad at us yesterday because we didn't mention him as a guest. I guess he still wanted to be a guest.
Well, you can mention. I'm not a guest, but you can mention the other host. The Turnbuckle Debate with the OG fake kid.
Yeah,
maybe that should be a new logo.
That should be the name of the show. The Turnbuckle
there you go.
With the OG
with
fake
the OG
kid.
fake.
There you go.
Yeah, brand yourself, man.
Genius.
All right.
Well, so, I know you've listened to the show before, but what we'll do, we have 3 topics. We'll go about 10 to 15 minutes on each topic, let everybody give their side of the story. And that's the format of the show. So if you guys are ready, we'll get into our first topic of the evening. All right, so our first topic today is, has Vince booked a Mania-worthy card?
No. I'm saying a flat out no. I mean, with what he has to work with and no build-up this year, I don't know that he even could have booked a Mania-worthy card this year.
He could have.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have that, WWE has the talent, the biggest wealth of talent in pro wrestling. And I agree. I don't think he booked a Mania-worthy card, not so much from the matchups. Some of the matchups are really interesting. I just feel like there's not been a lot of great storytelling heading into this Mania.
That's the problem with it for me.
Yeah.
I like the matches definitely have potential to be Mania-worthy matches. However, the storytelling that we have along with it is garbage.
It just feels like it was thrown together.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't feel like anything special.
Yeah, a lot of the pay-per-views since the pandemic, seems like they've been kind of thrown together. We spoke about this on the show as well, how it really doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like WrestleMania season at all.
No.
Not even in the slightest. Like there's definitely something missing. I'm not sure what it is. Even with the ticket sales, when they announced the ticket sales, it was what usually they do maybe months in advance. They usually announce that when last year's WrestleMania, they'll announce it for next year. Right. They'll have the ticket sales a few months ahead of time. This was maybe not even a month out.
Not even a month ago, they put the tickets on sale. And honestly, I thought that was going to do more for making it feel like a real Mania, knowing that there were going to be people, knowing they put the tickets on sale. It just seemed like they could have had a big to do about it.
Yep.
And I still don't feel like it doesn't feel like Mania.
watch it blow us away, like, and just be totally
I hope.
unexpected.
And
You know,
I
like
hope.
usually the things that are hyped never lived up to what you expect them to be. But the thing that we're like not looking forward to, watch it, like it doesn't have anything to live up to, so it could easily kind of shock us.
I want Bad Bunny and The Miz to blow my balls off.
That might happen.
Don't hold your breath.
My problem with it, I think I've heard you guys on Chick Foley talk about this. I think it was the last episode, and we've discussed it on the Tavern about how there's too many pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Between like Rumble, between the Rumble and Mania, it's like, I know I've heard arguments said, well, we could keep the Elimination Chamber. I'm all for scrap everything, Rumble, and then a long build that story on Raw, because right now, to me, it doesn't. Mania, to me, the matches and everything going in, it just feels like a Raw.
Well, between
it doesn't feel like Mania. This is This is the Super Bowl of pro wrestling. We should be like chomping at the bit for it, and I'm not.
Yeah, well, between Rumble and Mania, we have 2 pay-per-views that you have to have blow-offs for. Mm-hmm. So you have the story that's going to culminate on Elimination Chamber and Fastlane.
Right.
Like it does nothing. It changes the whole story.
Right. I don't really mind the Elimination Chamber in between, but you don't need to squeeze 2 of them in there.
I don't even want an Elimination Chamber in.
Yeah, that was my stance, is no pay-per-views between Rumble and Mania.
Why Elimination Chamber, Tom?
Yeah,
it sets up other things. If when you have 2, first of all, there shouldn't be 2 world titles, and so you have to set up the other one. So you kind of, they didn't do that this year actually, so that doesn't even have any validity to it as I say it. But just another thing about this Mania, there's just too many titles. Like there's 2 tag team titles, 2 women's titles. Like stop.
Oh, that's
every
a
match,
whole other debate. Yeah,
that waters it down too. Like there's not one big title match at the end.
Yeah.
You
know?
Yeah. The other, I think, my stance was, get rid of the pay-per-views and, those matches that they make for those pay-per-views, make them, put them on like a Raw or a SmackDown.
Exactly.
Help out with the ratings, build those storylines all the way up until Mania. So we're all engaged again. But obviously it's a different business now than it was back when they were just doing like 5 pay-per-views a year and stuff like that.
I feel like AEW does a good job. They'll do those special dynamites where it's like, the St. Patrick's Day Slam, where it feels bigger than just a normal dynamite, but they're giving you big matches. Like build that and really like hone in on these stories. Like the Rumble traditionally, that's where Mania season kicks off. That's where we find out who's going to be in at least one of the main events, I think they kind of it waters down everything.
And something else that waters it down for me is 2 nights.
I agree.
2 nights of Mania. There is zero need for 2 nights.
I have no interest in 2 nights either. It takes something away. Like WrestleMania, the 4-hour show, 4.5-hour show, like the build up to that one night. Like now over 2 nights.
Well, they did that because they had that 8-hour epic a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And then they saw New Japan doing Wrestle Kingdom over 2 nights, and they're like, "Oh, let's take a page out of New Japan. They're doing it. We could do it."
That's a different thing. Wrestling's different over Japan and they treat it a lot different. It's not really it's more of a sport. They obviously call it the king of sports. But it's a spectacle as well as a sport there. So they, if you're familiar with like Wrestle Kingdom, it doesn't feel like it's watered down if you're watching it over 2 nights.
Right.
You want to watch the second night. You have to, because usually that first night builds into the second night.
Yeah.
It might be a championship match that was that first night, and then the next night it's being defended.
Right.
And you know what?
Watch it.
And they almost did that with this Mania, and I was almost excited for it.
I felt the same way.
I said that on the show.
Daniel Bryan thing.
No, on the show. I didn't say it on the show.
He had a great, Daniel Bryan said, well, then I'll come back the next night. I won't face him right after the match. It's 2 nights. Let me do it the second night.
Yep.
And now they have a triple threat match.
That's an excellent point, because that would have been so much different than a triple threat match. And to have looking forward to see what's going to happen in next night. Is it going to be Edge versus Bryan, Roman Reigns versus Bryan again?
Right.
Like what NXT is doing with the Battle Royal and then the Gauntlet, and then, that's something to look into each night. Like I love that idea, and they're not even smart enough to do that with the Big Show. Like, well, not the
for
Big
5
Show.
seconds, man. For 5 seconds, I was excited.
Yeah, I agree.
Until
I
Priest
agree.
came out and said, "Nah, we're not doing that."
Yeah,
And then it was the deflated balloon. I felt like when they said, "Nope, triple threat match."
I think it was in our group chat on the show. I was like, I think Roman Reigns is main eventing both nights of Mania, and they're like, "What?" Oh, I think I said it in our group chat actually.
Yeah.
And they're like, "What do you mean? I was like, I think they should do that. Have him face Edge one night, have him face Daniel Bryan.
That would be great.
My stance on the show is, I'm not sure if you guys agree with this. It's a debate show, so have at it. Lashley, McIntyre, not main event.
No,
We've seen
100%
it.
not.
At all.
I think
that's
Sasha
why
Banks and Belair are actually going to main event one of the nights.
they should. They definitely should. That's a main event match. Like their build up, their story, Bianca Belair's storyline, all that build up is perfect for a main event. Lashley and McIntyre, don't try to recapture what happened last year because
I agree. I have a feeling this triple threat that they've set up this triple threat with Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns, and Edge as a way for Roman Reigns to retain the title but not lose any steam on Edge. Or I feel like triple threats are designed where they want someone to win, but they don't want them to win clean or lose clean between. So they'll throw another person in there to kind of,
See, I thought it was opposite. I thought they were doing it so Edge could pin Daniel Bryan and it doesn't hurt Roman Reigns.
That's a possibility.
That too.
Yeah.
I was thinking more of the lines of maybe Edge isn't continuing after Mania, so you said it. You can still have the feud with Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns going into it if he pins Daniel Bryan and retains the title. Now you can continue them on and not worry about Edge coming in and do what he does or whatever like that. You still have a healthy Daniel Bryan, you have a healthy Roman Reigns, and they're feuding into the next pay-per-view or whatever.
Yeah, and then let's talk about some of the bad booking choices that has been made leading into this. We have Braun Strowman and Shane McMahon, this match is pretty much because Shane McMahon called him dumb or stupid.
Yeah.
Like
making himself look really stupid in the process.
Exactly.
I've never seen a monster booked like this. He is the biggest whiny baby. Just make him go out and destroy people.
Yeah, as long as they give him the choo-choo train noise.
Oh God! Don't get me started on the choo-choo train.
Oh, that was
noise.
terrible too.
I think they were. I honestly think they were going for like a Keith Lee, Braun Strowman match. That's I think that was the original. I never read any dirt sheet, but I obviously Keith Lee isn't there right now, so they had to kind of like switch plans. But I think that would have been an awesome like match, like one of them.
That would have been good.
Or have I hate triple threats really, but they have a triple threat with like Riddle, Braun Strowman, and Keith Lee, and have them go after the U.S. Something crazy like that. But I think Keith Lee being hurt or sick or whatever it was, it kind of derailed the whole media angle and stuff like that. So because they kind of led into when they had it was Survivor Series, right? Where they had the team match and Keith Lee, Braun Strowman, they're all on the same team, and Scrap Daddy on Twitter said Braun Strowman was kind of like they kind of like planted the seeds back then with a stupid angle or with Braun Strowman. They kind of planted it like way back then, but really didn't build onto it. But I think Keith Lee was supposed to be a part of that. That angle, but obviously he's gone, so now we have to deal with Shane McMahon and Bubba Braun, as he calls him.
Bubba Braun. I mean, and one of the major things, like right now, it's a problem to me when we're a couple weeks out from Mania, and there's still 3-4 weeks ago the card was still relatively empty. When you don't have matches set up a month out, come on, man. Like we need more build than a month build for a Mania.
Exactly.
Absolutely. It's the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
It's the Super Bowl of wrestling. And one thing that I thought was funny, I looked up the card just so I could have the card in front of me to see what matches. And they kind of gave a little breakdown of what the matches were. And the description that they gave for the Fiend and Orton match absolutely killed me. It says, Orton burned the guy to death, and then he was resurrected, and now they're going to wrestle about it.
Wow.
Such a good description.
That's
So
Oh,
funny.
we love
and this
wrestling.
this fiend. It looks terrible to me.
I like
I'm
that. I
sorry.
like. It's getting a little ridiculous, but I like that they at least acknowledge that he got burned.
Yep.
yeah,
I like that they
True.
at least did that because
Yeah.
you know, if you remember, Randy Orton went under the hood and wore a mask one week, and then the next week it's like all those
His face was
burns are
healed.
gone now.
he's
Yeah.
fine.
What?
It was bad enough for a mask, but then the next week, gone. Yeah.
Horrible.
All right. Any final thoughts on this topic before we move on?
Just a no from me.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Same
Yeah.
here.
General consensus.
Not very
No.
excited for it. I mean, I'm excited for Mania, but
Mania is Mania,
but the
Yeah.
matches I'm not too
Yeah.
keen on.
all right. So our second topic of the evening came to us from Marco. This is his topic, and the topic is: what WrestleMania match would you change or change the finish or book differently if you had the pencil?
All
I'll
right.
let you guys
Yeah,
start
do you
it
want
off.
to kick it off, or do you guys want
kick
to
it off, man.
Kick it off, man.
All right, so I put this in our group chat. My answer is always Triple H and Booker T. Basically, have him win the title. Simple as that. I'm pretty sure you guys, if you guys listen to Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard and Conrad, kind of took him to task on that whole
Big
that
time.
whole episode. Yeah, that like the remainder of that. I think it was the WrestleMania was the topic. But that one match like took up a portion of the pretty much all the way from the middle to the end. Like he took him
Yeah.
the task of the storyline. How come you didn't do this? How can you do that? And basically his answer was like, oh, it wasn't called for. He wasn't chosen to win. It's like, it's that you can't. My thing was like his whole buildup. They did like his whole life story, all the way up to this point. He's going to be main event in a WrestleMania. Like they did all this stuff, built him up as it's like contender to Triple H. Like he's actually going to win the title, a title that he's held in the previous company
Right.
before. And then obviously we know what happens. He obviously doesn't win that match, but like that could have been that Kofi Kingston win could have been done back then. That was my take on it.
Oh
it's
yeah,
like-
and not to mention all the racist stuff
Exactly,
that
yeah.
Triple H spewed on him. Like he's piling on in the buildup to that match, making you think like, okay, we'll let this slide. He's getting shit on for the weeks leading up to Mania, but
gonna
he's
win.
going to get his comeuppance at Mania, and Booker T's going to go over. And when that doesn't happen, it's like, what?
It's like, what was the payoff? There was no. Who was the payoff for?
Right.
Was it the payoff to like put Triple H over as like the biggest heel ever, and I'm gonna pile shit on you and still
Right.
win at Mania? It was like I think it blew a lot of people's minds after like in hindsight. It's just like, why didn't that happen? It was like an easy like I forget who the other title match was that night, and they think it changed hands. I think it was Brock maybe.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was winning the title. It was him and Kurt Angle, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that was Bruce Pritchard's like, well, one title is changing hands. We can't have two. Like,
Why?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, why
Yes,
not?
you can. You
That's-
did that. WrestleMania 35. Kofi
Right.
Kingston won. Seth Rollins won. And Becky Lynch won. They
Right.
literally all won world titles. Like
That's such a dumb argument.
Yeah, it was like I said, that always just blew my mind. And like, they kind of treat him like he wasn't one of the greatest tag teams of all time.
You know what they
And ROH.
treated him like? They treated him like he was from WCW.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They didn't. I mean, no, you're exactly right. It's just like, hey, is this WCW guy trying to take
You mean the same
our
treatment
title.
that Sting got at WrestleMania?
pretty much? I mean,
Right.
at least he got like kind of like a cool like entrance, and he was like, he
had a moment.
John Cena, he had a moment and stuff like that. He wasn't
Yeah.
just every week
Yeah.
on Raw getting crapped on and saying like racist things to him, and then
Yeah.
this big lead up, and then he loses. It's just like, what was that whole like that him giving you crap all those weeks? You're supposed to use
Right.
that to build and fight, which he did, but now he couldn't pull out the win. It's like,
Yeah.
Like I said, that I'm always gonna want to rebook that match. Ever. I hope that they should just do that this week. Add that as a match: Triple H versus Booker T.
Put it on.
Just
Yeah.
bring the
should.
big gold belt
makeup
back
match.
and just do it. Just do a do-over real
Yeah.
quick. They're both in shape.
Bring
I'm
it
pretty
out
sure
of
they can do
retirement.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I would be excited about Mania.
Oh yeah, no, I would definitely. I'd be like, oh my god, it's gonna happen. And then,
Yeah.
What do you know? Triple H probably wins again anyway. So what do we?
That's
know?
true.
That's probably
Very
true.
Tom.
All right, I'm gonna go with mine. I did some research. I went back and looked at every match of Mania,
Wow.
and I came up with WrestleMania 23. I really think they should have gave Shawn Michaels one more title run, and he should have beaten John Cena that year. Like, I remember watching it and being so disappointed that Shawn Michaels didn't win that match, and I'm like, he's never getting another title shot. That's it. Like, he's never gonna get another run. Like, that one really. Like, I thought he deserved one more run in his time back, and they just didn't give it to him.
How long
And that
had he
was
been back from? Because he returned. How long had he been back?
It was he was back a couple of years by that point. Let's see if I can find it.
Because the only thing with a match like that, I wonder, is like, do you see that match as kind of one of those passing the torch type of matches where you have an icon and Shawn kind of passing it to the new rising Hogan, Austin of his era, John Cena?
I mean, he still could have done
I
that
can see
after.
that.
He didn't leave right away then. You know, they
Yeah.
still have plenty. Like, he could have won it from him. Cena could have won it back, and then they could have done, like, the big hug thing, and, you know.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
They could have done something like that. So that's just
Yeah.
my take. That was just
I
I just
think
remember
so.
watching it when I went through the matches, thinking, wow, I was really bummed Shawn Michaels didn't win that one.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that, like even in the Edge Roman, when Daniel Bryan wasn't involved and we were getting at Edge Roman this year, there's that part of me that's like, yeah, you kind of want Roman to win just to keep this monster heel going and the unbeatable champion. But I feel like there's always a part of me that wants that vet to get one last run,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know?
I think everybody wants to see the vet get that one last run. It's almost like the heroes send off.
Because it never happens. And it's very
Yeah.
like stereotypical, you know, the aging wrestler puts over the new star to give them cred. But I feel like if they were to give like an old vet a true run with the belt and do it in the right way, it could be very interesting because you wouldn't see it coming.
Yeah. The one, and this isn't my pick, but thinking of what you just said, no, there wasn't a title involved, but I definitely would have. I don't think I would have had Corbin go over Angle either.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
Oh, I agree with that.
Awful.
Yeah. Angle should have went out on top. There's no need why that had to happen. It was the same
awful.
like what you said. The booking was the same way where you kind of thought Angle was going to come back and get that payback.
Yeah.
It was just you left feeling empty after that.
And Baron gained nothing from that win.
No.
Like no
Yeah.
one thinks of that win over Angle and man, he beat Kurt. No one talks about it. So it did
Yeah.
nothing.
No.
Yeah, that
It was-
literally just popped in my head when
Yeah.
you said that
Yeah.
about
Yeah, because it wasn't like you said. He gained nothing from it, and it wasn't like Kurt Angle was passing anything on to him like a wrestler of his caliber or
Right.
someone that was coming up like kind of like under him almost, like not
Right.
literally, but like someone in the same vein as Kurt Angle. If that happened, like if it was like I hate to use it like Shorty G, if you want to say that when he was Shorty G at the time, if he like faced Kurt Angle, that would have been, and he put Kurt Angle out to pasture, as to say.
Yeah.
That would have been a killer match. It would have been
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
would have been a grade A wrestling match, and it would have been like, oh, okay, I get it. This is why he beat him. He's stepping in the shoes of the
Right.
Kurt Angle type of figure. But,
Yep. It would have made sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
because
sure-
Kurt, when if Kurt would have got that win and retired, you're going out on a win at Mania.
Yeah.
People
exactly.
would have remembered that more for Kurt. So I felt like that win was bigger for Kurt.
Sometimes you got to give the people what they want and not worry about putting somebody over. Make the fans happy sometimes. I know
yeah.
they love putting people over, the old talent. You don't always have to do that. Like what the fans
Sure.
want is more important, and the fans really wanted to see Angle win that match.
Yep,
So,
I agree.
so Shawn Michaels came back in 2002. The match with Mania was 2007, and he didn't retire until 2010.
Okay.
So,
yeah,
Oh,
so they could,
yeah.
they definitely could have had some type of like storyline.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're definitely right about that.
They could have put it on him, and I mean,
Yeah.
it didn't have to be a long run, but he definitely could have had another run.
Yeah,
I agree with that. Chad, you want to go with
Yeah.
yours?
My pick is from what I think is one of the best Manias ever, but it kind of ended on a note that kind of, I just didn't like it at the time. I still don't like it. And that's WrestleMania 17, when Austin turns heel on The Rock and joins forces with Mr. McMahon. No.
Yeah, that was terrible.
This is Stone Cold Steve Austin. He is the epitome of standing up against the man. And I get it. It's like, it's wrestling. It's, they'll never see it coming, but it wasn't done well. And no one, even at that point, it didn't work because the fans were not ready to boo a Steve Austin. So a heel turn for Austin was never going to work, regardless if he aligned with McMahon or not.
Yeah.
And it kind of took something away from that match for me. Like, that match was so good. That was maybe one of their best matches. You know, they had the trilogy. Austin won the first two, and then Rock beat him in Stone Cold's final match.
Yep.
But to me, I just never bought Stone Cold aligning himself with Mr. McMahon. Not after that epic feud they had.
No,
it just didn't serve a purpose. It just seemed so like, oh, let's just do this to do this.
It seemed like a swerve for the sake of a swerve.
Right, exactly.
Like, I wasn't a fan.
Yeah, the only way they would rectify that for me is if on Monday Night Raw, you know, they came out and, you know, pretended like Stone Cold pretended he was still friends and he was still a heel, and then drops a stunner on Vince McMahon.
Oh yeah.
Basically, called back to that promo that he had with The Rock, or that interview. He was like, I have to win this title. I'll do whatever I have to do.
That would have worked.
Back from you, and then call that back and say, I told The Rock I would do whatever I had to do to.
Yeah.
Probably do. I told The Rock I would come back and do whatever I had to do. Oh damn it, I did that. Something like that, and then drop a stunner on Vince McMahon, and that'd been it. And then it would have been back to glory again. You could continue the feud with The Rock. Now The Rock can be pissed off that he did side with Vince McMahon, and that brings another level to Stone Cold. He will literally do anything he has to do.
Yeah, he'll play McMahon's games.
Yeah, he's a rattlesnake.
Yeah.
Told you I'm a rattlesake. Told you I'm a goddamn rattlesake. DTA and all this stuff. It could have been so perfect if they did it. But
that's true.
They didn't.
Yeah, that's good booking.
Yeah.
What's your Steve?
So I have two. The main one that I have is WrestleMania 9. I would have never had Hogan come out and win the belt from Yoko.
Yeah.
Would have never had him do that.
What a flex.
Awful.
I mean, that was absolutely terrible. And now to hear the story on the Yoko documentary I lost so much respect for Hogan from that. Because Hogan basically came in. He basically came in and just said, whatever happens, I'm going to come out and win the belt.
He strong-armed his way to a title.
Yeah. He won the title without even having to have a match.
Yeah.
And that was absolutely terrible. That, even as a kid, I didn't think that. It just didn't make sense to me.
Same.
Why Hogan was coming out.
I liked it as a kid because I just didn't want to see Yokozuna with the belt. I was mad he beat Bret Hart.
Well, I mean, I can see that.
I'm thinking as a kid back then. Now it's different, but
yeah. But even hearing the story now,
it's cringeworthy.
It made me lose so much respect for Hogan. But the other one that I picked, just because from watching it, I was upset at the time, and we touched on it just a few minutes ago, was Sting should have gone over Triple H.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sting should have won that match.
Yeah.
That match, there was no reason to put Triple H over. Sting deserved to have his moment. He had a Mania moment, but he deserved to win that match.
And it didn't make sense for me. They turned that whole match into a DX versus NWO thing. And I get it, the whole WCW, WWE, but Sting was the enemy of the NWO. Why are they coming up to help him?
Yeah, it made no sense.
It's not like the Wolfpack came down. It was three that he hated the most, that he fought against. It just didn't make sense.
What was the point of the Starcade match?
It was a cool moment, but they could have found a better place to do it because it didn't belong with Sting.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So now we'll just move right on to our third topic. And this is a tough one. Undertaker or Shawn Michaels, who has the better Mania legacy?
This is tough.
I've been tennis balling this the whole Right when you dropped this question, I was just like, you could do an argument for either one.
Yeah, there's pros and cons on either side.
Yep.
I think if the streak doesn't end, it's easily the Undertaker. Like, I'm one who believes the streak shouldn't have ended. You built it up that much. There was no need for Brock to beat him. Like, it just didn't make any sense at that point. So I'm picking Mr. WrestleMania because every match Shawn Michaels had was an amazing match. Like, his big entrances and like he's just amazing. Like I don't know. I just the streak ending ruined it for the Taker for me. It just ruined it.
Yeah, that's
so just the streak ending is what ruined it for you.
Yeah, like if that streak would have lived on forever, like Tito Santana was 0-8 and never won a match. He lost 8 wrestle. They didn't make him come back and win one to end his streak. So like they didn't need to end a winning streak. That was what the Undertaker. That was such a legacy. That was amazing, that streak.
Here, but I don't know. I'm gonna hold off on saying who I think has the better legacy for a second and just play devil's advocate to what you're saying. Undertaker, okay, he lost the streak, but when you really dive deep into the deep cuts of that streak, he was in some turd matches early on.
His first
exactly.
Snuka, Giant Gonzalez, King Kong Bundy, Diesel. I mean, a lot of these matches were like, but having said that, when he gets to about
the second half of the streak,
about 2008, 24. When Edge, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, CM Punk, that line of matches, there's an argument to be had that those 5 or 6 years in there, that could in its own make him have the most impressive legacy. Because some of those matches, the Triple H match, the Shawn Michaels match that everyone just, the career, the retirement match, those matches are iconic.
But 100%. But it's because look who his opponents were.
Shawn Michaels.
Like Undertaker couldn't lift up those other guys to have a great match. Where when he started facing those other guys, like he was in there with some quality opponents that made the matches that much better.
Very true.
Yeah. Can we just say, I mean, without picking one right now, can we just say that their Mania 25 match was one of the better Mania matches of all time?
100%.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
both of their matches at Mania were amazing.
Yeah, 25 and 26.
Yeah, so,
yeah,
both of them. Like, you can't really.
Oh man, I might just say who I picked as the better one, but like I said, I did tennis ball back and forth between the two, like, and I try to like break it down to like their matches, like we just spoke about, like who had the better matches, and then longevity was a thing that was really big for me too, like is who had the longer WrestleMania career. And obviously it's the Undertaker. Like you would look forward to every WrestleMania, even if it wasn't the greatest Undertaker match, he was looked forward to be at every single WrestleMania after the streak, essentially.
Yeah.
And then obviously, like we spoke about before, Shawn Michaels is a part of his WrestleMania legacy. Like you go back and forth. Undertaker was a part of his WrestleMania legacy. Probably both of their best WrestleMania match was them against each other.
Yeah.
So it almost like cancels them out. But like my thing was, like I said, I picked longevity over it, and I went with, I think the Undertaker would technically have the better like legacy and career for WrestleMania. Obviously, we call Shawn Michaels Mr. WrestleMania. The best, like the staple said, the best WrestleMania matches out of the two guys. You can't deny that. 60-minute Iron Man match that we just spoke about, the John Cena match, Ric Flair retirement match, the so on and so Cold in Boston. You can go on and everything. But as far as I'm going by career, like I said, like legacy and the longer you've been in a WrestleMania, it basically, like, you think, when I think of WrestleMania, I think Undertaker.
Yeah.
With disrespect to Shawn Michaels, I don't think of Shawn Michaels when I hear WrestleMania. Like I said, they call him Mr. WrestleMania, but I to me, Undertaker is Mr. WrestleMania in my eyes. It was Hogan. He was Mr. WrestleMania before, and I think Shawn Michaels kind of got like ego driven. Was like, no, I'm Mr. WrestleMania. Forget Hogan.
Right.
And we probably have to have a different show and talk about their SummerSlam match, because that was insane. But yeah, like I said, my pick would be the Undertaker, and that's it. Like I said, you go either way. You have cases for both guys, but like I said, I picked longevity and I picked WrestleMania and being synonymous with it, and I went with the Undertaker on mine.
Yeah, and I'll piggyback off that. It was tough for me, and I picked Undertaker not only because of longevity, but the reason I picked is because every year his theatrics that he brought to WrestleMania, that was the kicker for me, because with Shawn Michaels, I mean, they're absolutely taking nothing away, and it's crazy to me that Shawn Michaels' first Mania appearance was in '89. We saw him at WrestleMania 5 when the Mega Powers. I mean, think about that. When the Mega Powers explode, WrestleMania, Shawn Michaels is on there. I mean, it's Walkers, but he's on there.
Yeah.
And that's crazy to think of. But when I think of WrestleMania, I always look forward to Undertaker's theatrics, no matter what.
Yeah, because you're wondering what kind of entrance he's going to have.
What kind of supernatural stuff are we going to see?
Yeah,
What is it going to take for him to walk to the ring?
Well, I know you hate Undertaker and everything, Tom, but listen, he was the only wrestler where the supernatural stuff never bothered me.
I don't.
Yeah.
I look forward to it. I know you hate Undertaker.
I don't
Tom.
hate the Undertaker. I like him more now than I ever have.
If you go back in the archives and listen to the debate, I believe it's one of the first couple episodes we talk about how much you hate the Undertaker.
I think what I said was like I never really cared for him while he was there, and I have more of appreciation for him now.
I think a lot of people have that.
That was a lot better than what I think it was.
Yeah, especially after the last ride docuseries.
That's what did it for me watching that.
Yep. Even for me, I wasn't like the hugest Undertaker fan. I mean, I love the Undertaker like everyone else, but like I think that docuseries definitely helped, open a lot of eyes to the Undertaker, because obviously he was just this guy that you seen in week to week that would wrestle. You never knew who he was as a person and what he stood for and what was on his mind. And I think for the staple, he's a prime example. If he hated the Undertaker and then seeing that docuseries, was like, you know what? He's not such a bad guy. I mean, it did its job in that sense, but
hate is a strong word. I never.
Dislike.
Here's a little peek behind the curtain. Here's a little peek behind the curtain. But this was before last ride. Also, when Tom said that he didn't like the Undertaker, when he wasn't a fan of the Undertaker, as soon as we finished recording that episode, he texted and said, "I just ordered the Undertaker box from WWE."
I have that as well. It's awesome.
That is true. That is true.
Yep. We spent an episode talking about how much he didn't like the Undertaker. Then he says he ordered the stuff.
My pick, Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
I think Undertaker, probably in the last 15 years, he's been what I've watched. He is the most anticipated thing for Mania for me, especially like in the later 15 through 20-0, those matches where you're really tuning in to see like, when is the streak going to be broken?
Yeah.
Yep.
After they broke the streak, I do feel like it lost a little luster.
Yep.
And his early matches were kind of lackluster. Giant Gonzalez, awful. Undertaker's went on record of talking about how he did not want to do that.
Yeah.
But he did what Vince told him. But with Shawn Michaels, it's funny because he's called Mr. WrestleMania, but his record at Mania is 6-11. The dude doesn't win a whole lot at Mania.
Yeah.
He's got 11 losses and 6 wins.
He puts on a great show.
But he puts on a hell of a show. And the matches he's in, I mean, all of his matches, a lot of them seem like true WrestleMania moments. That's why he's Mr. WrestleMania. The Shawn Michaels Ric Flair retirement match where he says, "I love you," and super kicks Flair. Incredible. The match with Jericho at WrestleMania 19.
Yeah.
Highly underrated match.
Yeah.
So good.
Mania 14, Austin and him and Austin.
Him and Austin with Mike Tyson, that whole angle. I would argue that Shawn Michaels was involved in, maybe as much as I don't like them, maybe the best triple threat in Mania history with Chris Benoit and Triple H. That match was incredible. Then he had the banger with Kurt Angle, the 2 classics with the Undertaker, and let's not forget the amazing ladder match with Razor Ramon at 10.
Yeah,
I just feel like just moments in general, like strip away all the pageantry that comes along with Undertaker. If we're talking about just Mania moments outside of an entrance, his matches had way more moments. And the tipping point for me, because it was very, very close, the tipping point for me was the fact that Shawn Michaels and Undertaker had those matches together. So they canceled themselves out. If you take those 2 Shawn Michaels matches off of Undertaker's record, and you take them off of Shawn Michaels' record and just look what's left between the 2, I'm going to go with Shawn Michaels.
That's actually,
we're doing absolutely.
It also, like you mentioning it now, like the whole Taker streaks really seemed to pick up steam after his 2 matches against Taker. Against Shawn Michaels. All of a sudden, it's like, wow, what are they going to do now? He just had those 2 epic matches with Shawn Michaels. We have to continue to build this thing and make it as good as it was.
Well, he was actually part of 3 matches because he was a part of the end of an era match. In Miami. Yeah, I was at that one live, and I was at WrestleMania 30 as well when the streak ended.
Oh wow!
I had a weird feeling. I was telling my buddies. I was like, I have a feeling he's gonna lose tonight. They're like, no way. There's no way he's gonna lose. I'm like, I don't know, man. I was like, he's facing Brock Lesnar. I was like, I don't know. I feel like Brock Lesnar is gonna just manhandle him and just take it. And then
who were we just talking to that was at that Mania?
Marco, he's right here. He just said it. Oh,
yeah.
Well, we just did an interview with somebody else that was at that Mania.
Yeah, no. So the other thing was a shock of that loss. So, the whole crowd I'm not sure if they piped in noise, but that whole arena was in silence, just like crickets.
Incredible.
That guy's face, but more, he's like there forever. That was literally everyone's faces. We were just like,
I mean, I wasn't the biggest Undertaker fan, and I was in shock, sitting in front of my TV, like, what?
Oh yeah, everybody. I was in shock. Everybody was.
I was like, I wasn't expecting to be right. They were just like, what the hell? He actually.
And the whole thing, Heyman, after the weeks after when Heyman would come out and say, Brock Lesnar's the one, I'm the one behind the one in 21 and 1. So good.
It's awesome.
So great.
Heyman's just amazing. Heyman.
Don Callis is giving him a run for his money right now.
Yeah, Don Callis is he's making Kenny look good.
Callis is
I love Callis. He's one of my favorite things on AEW right now.
And he's doing it across 2 brands.
He's not even in AEW. That's how great he is.
Right. That's what I look forward to. Don Callis every week.
I do too. I'll just say this: you can't go wrong with whoever you pick in that.
Absolutely.
Game, really.
I like how it was 2 and 2 though. Too we didn't. It wasn't like
I like when I get
one-sided victory. It was just like.
Yeah.
I like when I get Chad on my side. I feel like it's a victory for me. It's my WrestleMania moment.
Right. Yeah.
Tom's had his moment.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess that will wrap us up. Does anybody have any final thoughts before we close it up?
Excited for Mania.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as it's not like the matches, I'm a kid. Mania and the Rumble, no matter how bad the booking is, I'm always excited to tune in.
Yeah. Let's hope they blow us away this weekend. Let's hope it's we come back next week and it's like, wow, that was unexpected. That was a great Mania.
Hey, it happened last year. We didn't know what to expect because of circumstances, obviously, and I think people were pretty blown away at what they could produce.
The Boneyard
match. We got the Firefly Funhouse match, which is one of the most epic things ever. And I think they're gonna with that match. I think they're gonna top what they did last year with.
As good as the Boneyard match was, I still feel kind of gypped that we didn't get to see. I think AJ could have really let Undertaker go out in style in the ring and made him look good, really good in the ring one more time.
Yeah,
That's what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to happen, but a lot of things gone to play. But I think I have a little prediction that I've been teasing on the show a little bit. I think this Firefly Funhouse match, you're gonna see Randy face himself.
Oh wow!
He's the legend killer. So what better way to lose is to face yourself.
That sounds.
Have
yeah.
they actually said it's a Firefly Funhouse match? Because I know originally I heard that, but I haven't seen it advertised.
I don't think it is. I mean, it's probably. I mean, they haven't advertised it, but there's no other.
There's going to be
no other way.
chicanery.
Yeah,
There's
you
gonna
have to.
be-
There's no Undertaker. There's no John Cena. There's no Triple H. There's no like really big, huge names. So you got to like leave a lasting impression on us for watching this. I mean, it might be boring for the people there in attendance because it's actually going to be people there this time.
Right.
But I think it might be split. There might be like some ring stuff as well as behind the scenes stuff. But when they did that thing on Raw where Randy seen himself on the screen and he had like the black eyes and thought he was coming from and stuff like that. I think that Randy's going to make an appearance.
That could be fun.
Like, kind of face
I
each
can
other.
see that being.
I mean, WWE does a big production, so they're the best at it, and I think they'll pull it off with that. Hopefully, anyway.
I like it.
Before we go, Marco, let everybody know where they can find your show.
So you can find us everywhere. So all platforms. So Apple, Spotify, Google, SoundCloud. Not YouTube yet. Definitely want to do that. But pretty much anywhere you get your podcast, you find the Chick Foley Show. Just search Chick Foley Show, and it pops up. And you can find me on Twitter at Chick Foley Show. And you can find my co-host Sheena on Instagram at Chick Foley. And
it's a great show.
Yeah,
great. You guys do a lot of. I love how it touches on everything in the pro wrestling world.
We flows really well. I like it. It's really
we changed the format up a little bit. We kind of like freestyled a little bit at the beginning, and now we kind of like hit a little bit of a better stride and stuff like that. And
it flows. It flows.
Yeah.
Like you guys will be leaving a segment, and I'll be like, "Already?"
Yeah,
like it flows well.
I was actually just talking to them about that. Like we've never seen it. Like we've never met each other all like in person. Like none
really?
Of us. Yeah. For like the past like 2 years. Like and it's like just the dynamic of us just like pretty much like chatting every day and talking every day and like doing that type of stuff. I think that kind of like helps with the show because you would never know. You think that we were just three friends just sitting in the living room, just talking wrestling and figure collecting. But
that's awesome.
Not even the case. We're in different states and we have kids and we're doing family stuff and all this stuff. But yeah, we try to make it work, and I think we've done a great job so far. And,
I agree. I think you guys have done a really good job.
It's only getting better. We got you guys along now, and we got this whole Pod Foundation going. So
yeah, we're super excited to be involved with the likes of the Chick Foley Show. Now that it's a lot of fun. The Pod Foundation's a lot of fun. And speaking of Pod Foundation, you can find Pod Foundation on Instagram and Twitter at Pod Foundation.
Yep.
So
follow it today.
Absolutely. So, all right, that's going to wrap us up for this week. Make sure you guys, like we just talked about, follow the Chick Foley Show. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Pod Foundation. You can find the Turnbuckle Tavern on Instagram at Turnbuckle Tavern, Twitter at Tbuckle Tavern. And Tom, where can we find you?
The OG Fig Kid on Twitter and Instagram.
What about the Fig Fed?
At Wrestling Fig Fed on Twitter and Instagram and on all your podcasting platforms.
All right.
The staple is spoken.
The staple is spoken. The show is over. Court is dismissed.